Hey everyone, Braden here with the Bee Fore You Buy, and today we are going to be talking about the Hive Top Feeder and if I think it's worth buying or not. We're going to go over all the pros and the cons, and then finally I'm going to tell you if I think it's worth the money or not. So let's get into it. The Hive Top Feeder has to be among the easiest feeders to use. You just take off your outer cover, take off the inner cover, and you set the feeder directly on top of the hive, right above the frames. And that's it. It really couldn't be any simpler. Now, the bees crawl up from inside the hive through a small gap in the bottom and drink the syrup through a screened section. Then they head back down into the hive. It's a clean setup that keeps most of the traffic inside the hive. One of the biggest things I really love about this feeder is they're super easy to refill. You don't have to tear apart the hive or get your bee suit out or smoker or anything like that. You just lift the lid, pour your syrup in, and you're done. There's no disturbing the bees or, like I said, having to get all your equipment out to go and refill your feeders like other ones. It's super convenient, which I'm a big fan of. Another great aspect about this feeder is since the syrup is technically inside the hive, it's a lot less likely to attract robbers, which is a really big win, especially in late summer and fall when there's tons of bees that are trying to rob out smaller hives. And if you're trying to fill up a smaller hive like a 5-frame nook or something, this feeder is a super great one to go to. Another really great aspect of this feeder is they can hold a lot of syrup. Depending on which one you get, they can hold up to 2 gallons like this one right here. Something else that I really like about them as well is it does come in a 5-framed variation. Now this one obviously doesn't hold as much syrup, only about a gallon max, but it still works super great for your 5-frame nooks. Now, it's not all great. There are a few problems with it, so let's talk about that now. First off, they are definitely not the cheapest option. You are going to pay way more for it than you would for an entrance feeder or frame feeder. Depending on the type you get, they can range anywhere from $20 all the way up to $40. So it's definitely something to think about when you're buying. Another problem I do have with this feeder is because of their size, storing them can be a bit of a pain, especially if you're running a lot of hives. I mean, if you have 15 or 20 of these things, storing them can be hard. I mean, they're almost the same size as a super, and so storing them is sometimes a problem. Another problem I do have with this feeder is sometimes the bees can actually find their way in from the outside. They can crawl up and under the lid and they'll fall into the syrup and drown. It is rare, but I have seen a few hives that I've opened up and there's just a whole pile of dead bees that have drowned in it, and it definitely makes a great big mess. So make sure you keep that lid real secure on it so you don't have to deal with that. So you're all probably wondering, would I recommend the Hive Top Feeder to a new beekeeper? And my answer is absolutely. This feeder is one of the best feeders I think I've ever found. You really can't go wrong with it. If you're trying to get weight on your beehives or get them ready for winter and fill them up with honey, or if you just don't want to have to worry about robbers getting to them or having to refill them every single day, then this is absolutely one of the best feeders I think you can really get. Just make sure you keep an eye on the lid so that bees won't get in and drown. But that's all I've got for this one. This video is part of my Bee Fore You Buy beekeeping series, where I review all different kinds of beekeeping gear, from feeders, suits, smokers, mite treatments, and anything else we use in the bee yard. If there's something you'd like me to review next, drop it in the comments and I might cover it in a future video. And before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button. It really does help the channel grow.